we're getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election.
It's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome.
So clearly, very different views on what is unfolding in the race to the White House, still going on despite what President Trump is saying. Both candidates taking to the podium overnight as the ballots continue to be counted. Hello and welcome back to our special coverage on Global News Morning. We, of course, continue to follow the results from south of the border. Our Washington bureau chief, Jackson Proskow, has been following every step of the race, this unprecedented race from the very beginning. Jackson, good morning. My goodness, I know you've had a very long night. We appreciate you joining us. And you, as you heard, the president claiming victory. We thought, and some reports suggested he would do this. Where do things stand right now?
Good morning to you, Anthony. You know, for days, we collectively, as the media and the pollsters, have all been warning we likely wouldn't have a result on Election Day. And here we are. This is exactly what folks were warning about. We have so many races that are too close to call right now, or where there are large numbers of outstanding ballots that still need to be counted. These are mail-in ballots that were submitted on time, meeting the deadlines, and they just literally need time to count them because in a place like Pennsylvania, they received almost 3 million absentee ballots. So we're in this sort of holding pattern right now while we wait for these final results. Michigan and Wisconsin are two of those outstanding states. It seems like they are both on track to firm up their results by the end of the day today. Pennsylvania is the big one. It could take until as late as Friday. There are still about 1.7 million ballots that haven't been cracked open yet that they need time to count. That remains a question mark. Georgia and North Carolina are both still in play at this hour. Very close margins there. Absentee ballots are coming in and they're tightening the race even further, so nobody wants to make a declaration on those states. So Anthony, taken as a whole picture, it is not right for either candidate to be declaring themselves a winner because neither of them has reached the threshold of 270 electoral college votes. It's that simple.
Now, if President Trump has his way, potentially millions of voters will be disenfranchised and their votes will not be counted if this goes in his direction. But does the president have any basis for his claims of election fraud?
And just to put a finer point on what the president is saying here, he's saying a state like Arizona, where they're still counting, but where Joe Biden has a substantial lead, he's saying media organizations shouldn't be calling that state for Joe Biden. He wants the count to keep going there. But then in a state like Pennsylvania, where he's currently ahead, but where there's those 1.7 million ballots that are likely to lean towards the Democrats still to be counted, he's saying stop the count. So I think that gives you a sense of what's going on here, Anthony. No, there is no evidence of some sort of widespread voter fraud. There is nothing wrong with results taking longer to come in. In fact, these are the rules that both Democrats and Republicans in a state like Pennsylvania agreed to. They said a 3-day grace period for late arriving ballots that are postmarked by Election Day. They said no pre-counting of election ballots. So when you have millions of mail-in ballots, that's going to take time. That's not a one-day job. And the president is essentially undermining the process at this point, knowing full well from the outset, before anyone even started voting, that this is what the process would be and this is what it would likely lead to.
So I'm going to put you on the spot because we're looking at the key battleground states. This really comes down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona. It's very tight, but in many of those states, the most of them right now, Donald Trump has a slight lead. So how many of these does he have to take to become the winner effectively?
You know, it's a tougher path for Trump than it is for Biden right now. And I think the easier way to look at it is that if Arizona, which has been called for Joe Biden by our partners at the Associated Press, stays with Biden, if Nevada, which is currently a close race but is leaning Democrats, stays for Biden, all Biden needs to do at this point is lock up Michigan and Wisconsin. Again, the gulf there is narrowing. It's getting to be a very, very close race as they count those absentee ballots. And if Biden wins Michigan and Wisconsin, in addition to those other two states, he hits 270 right there. And then there's Georgia and North Carolina, which we're still waiting on results for. And again, it's very, very close, getting closer as those results come in. Add to those, and he's beyond 270. So you can see how, for Donald Trump, it really comes down to a path through Pennsylvania. Joe Biden has paths that don't even need results from Pennsylvania. He could potentially be declared a winner if Michigan and Wisconsin turn in his favor and are sort of locked up in the next day or so.
My goodness. To be continued. Jackson, we really appreciate all of your reporting. Thank you so much. Jackson Proskow joining us from Washington.